Hi everyone! So this is a very impromptu video. Literally last week I got invited really last minute to the event of the launch of the updated version of the electric MG5 and I've literally just popped over on my lunch break, so I've only got an hour, not even that with the car, and I thought, you know, why not? Why don't I pick up the camera and do a video? So I'm just going to walk you through the updated version of the MG5. So this is the new long-range MG5, which is now on sale. What has changed, you may ask? Well, it's not a huge amount, but they are worthy improvements nonetheless. So it now gets a 61.1 kilowatt battery pack, which is up from 52.5 on the previous car, which gives you a nice boost from 214 miles to 250. And it also now supports 100 kilowatt charging as standard, and the cabin has got a little bit of a lift as well, which we'll go on to later. However, at first glance, everything is pretty much unchanged from the outside to the previous model. At least I think it is. I have been trying to look online and spot the difference, but if it has, it's absolutely minimal. One thing I'll give to the MG5 is it's not pretentious in any way. It knows its target audience and it appeals to them. Personally, I do like an estate and it makes a change from an SUV, but it's very practical looking, perhaps borderlining on a little bit boring. I actually don't mind the styling of the MG5 from the front. It's functional, clean, and doesn't scream, "I've got an electric car" from the rooftops. It's an estate car and it sits pretty low down due to the water-cooled batteries being integrated into the chassis. The charging port is built into the front of the car, which can cause some difficulty at times as it's fairly low down, something that's definitely worth testing out to see if you're comfortable with before purchasing one. Automatic LED lights come as standard, however they're not automatically levelling. I also find this redundant space a little strange. The alloy wheels are definitely disappointing and seem to date the car in my opinion. Around the back it mirrors the front of the car and again looks pretty smart. Not groundbreaking, but certainly not offensive. Inside the boot there's 464 litres of space under that retractable parcel shelf. With that pushback there's 578 litres, which is just a few litres short than the Enyaq. You also get a nice carry bag for your cables. Can I pull it off? It's going to be, you wait, everybody's going to want one soon. From what I can tell, the MG5 doesn't come with the option of an electric boot, which is a shame, but because it's an estate and not an SUV, you don't have to reach quite as far and it's not quite as heavy as something like the Skoda Enyaq. So sitting in the back, it doesn't feel enormous, but this light headlining really does help to kind of keep it bright in the back here. With my seating position, I've actually got loads of leg room, and it is nice because there's no transmission tunnel, so that means that you can put your legs somewhere in the middle as well. In fact, if I scoot along to the middle, I can still pretty comfortably sit here. However, the passenger seat is the furthest that it will go back, and then I'm struggling a little bit. But actually, I do think you could comfortably sit two adults in the back and a child. Do you know what, that middle seat's quite big. You could probably even fit a third adult. You probably wouldn't want to do it for very long. It's not enormous back here, but because there's no transmission tunnel, it does mean that you can comfortably sit your legs side by side, so it's actually pretty good. You also get a pull-out armrest with cup holders and two USB ports that come with both the Excite and the Exclusive trim and make the rear a rather practical place. Despite the MG5 Excite starting from £24,500 after the government grant, it's not short on equipment and gets keyless entry, cruise control, smartphone app connectivity and rear parking sensors. The Exclusive will cost just £2,500 more, and that adds roof rails, leather look upholstery, auto wipers and sat-nav to name a few. The interior, just like the exterior, is practical and functional and free of any flashy details. Materials used are pretty good, squishy leatherettes down low and then some harder plastics up top here. There is a carbon style insert and some light stitching which I quite like, though I did prefer the red stitching in the Ice ZS. In fact, overall I do prefer the styling on the ZS over this 5, but then again I do think it suits the audience. Connectivity is good, although I'm not a fan of this cheap feeling 12-volt cover. It's great to see the option of both a USB and USB-C port. The gear selector is really nice, a heavy material rotary dial and an electric parking brake with auto hold. The dials lower down control the climate control, which is fantastic news for those of us that hate using the touchscreen. Again, some nice high quality dials. So as well as leatherette seats, you also get heated ones on the higher trim. The 8-inch infotainment screen is nice and clear, but not as striking on the ZS. It does take a short while to work out that you have to press this button in the centre to take you to the home. The sat-nav, though easy to use, does take a lifetime to boot up, so you're probably better using your smartphone maps if you're an impatient person like me, otherwise this will probably drive you mad. On the Exclusive, as well as being heated, those seats are also 8-way electrically adjusted. Storage is pretty good. There's a nice hidden cubby hole down here for your phone. You've also got a couple of decent sized cup holders, some storage in both the armrest and glove box, although both of these are pretty small. Door bins are also reasonably sized. Again, quality on the doors feel pretty good, which is good because those are the things that you're going to touch all the time. Both trim levels get electric door mirrors, but on the Exclusive those are also folding. You get a nice leather-wrapped steering wheel in both trims of the car with lots of functionality on them. The seats are also well cushioned and pretty comfortable. As well as some of those really nice little extras, you also get a rear view camera on the top spec Exclusive model, so I definitely think that's the car that you should be looking at. There are 3 different driving modes: normal, sport and eco, and they do really exactly what they say on the tin. So if you pop it in sport mode, then it will slightly stiffen the suspension and give you a quicker acceleration. Normal mode will kind of just sit you in that normal standard that you'll want for day to day, and then if you want to save some battery you can go for the eco mode, and this will reduce your acceleration but also reduce things like your air conditioning slightly to make sure you're using the most of the battery. The MG5 EV has an 115 kilowatt motor, which is about the same as a 156 brake horsepower engine. It's unchanged from the previous model and has a 0 to 62 time of 7.7 seconds, which is pretty good considering the MG5 clearly wasn't built with power as the main priority. The acceleration might be brisk, but the steering is pretty numb and there's quite a lot of body roll through the bends. However, I do have to reiterate the fact that this wasn't built to be a driver's car, and for someone that just wants something comfortable to poodle around in, then they're probably not going to find any issues with the drive. And actually, you know what, it's really more comfortable than I was expecting. This new long-range vehicle actually rides 9mm higher than the previous car, which might have made a little bit of difference, but if I'm honest, I haven't driven the previous car, so I wouldn't really know. Standalone though, it's very comfortable to drive, and the cabin noise is very quiet, as you'd expect from an EV. There's 3 levels of brake regen operated via a toggle switch on the centre console. Unfortunately, there isn't a 1-pedal drive option, but it still takes a little bit of the effort out of driving and is good around these country roads. So a few quick charging statistics. That new 100 kilowatt charging capability means that the MG5 will take around 40 minutes to reach an 80% charge, and around 9.5 hours if you're using an at-home wall box. Not to mention, MG also comes with a 5-year warranty, which is extremely competitive. As well as being one of the cheaper EVs on the market to buy cash, the MG5 EV also has some very attractive leasing options. On the website leaseloco.com, they have some fantastic deals on the MG5, which include a 3-year deal with 8,000 miles a year and just £1,500 deposit. The MG works out at under £220 a month. If you wanted to check out the deals for yourself, then I'll pop a link in the description box. The inclusion of this is not sponsored, but it is an affiliate link. I know that was only short-lived and it was a lot of just me holding the camera. Don't you dare say you all enjoyed it more than my normal videos, because that will send me into meltdown, because this literally took me 10 minutes to video. But anyway, I've been pretty impressed by the MG5. Yes, it has some small niggles, but what do you expect from a car which is really this cheap? I mean, this car as a full EV is cheaper than some hybrids and some petrol cars, so you can't really complain and say that the reason that nobody's going for EV is because they're too expensive, because the MG5 has the range, it's pretty good at its charging times, and also it's really affordable as well, so it does offer a really good package. There's definitely a good reason why MG is kind of storming the market. I mean, last year they've already doubled their sales this year from last year, and it definitely shows why, because they have got some impressive cars on the market. If you've enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a massive thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye.